In this video, we're looking at the new previews that were shown off on the weekend in the Indomitus Day launch party. Welcome to Winter Disco Tabletop Gaming, where we look at everything Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar, Dungeons and Dragons, and a whole bunch of other tabletop and role-playing game goodness. Like I said, in this video, we're looking at some new, fancy, shiny models and some books that are coming out soon. These were revealed in the Indomitus launch day party preview stream late at night in Australia. So I've only just got around to doing this video now because I was knackered after yesterday. So you can see a few on screen at the moment, but let's get into the codexes. So with the codexes, it's a new edition, so of course there's going to be a codex. No surprise when they revealed this. I'm like, of course, it makes sense. And of course we do get Codex Space Marines and Codex Necrons because they are the two first armies. That makes perfect sense. As I said, with every new edition, we do get the new books, so the whole range is going to get a refresh over the next few years. And we have a little sneak preview, which we've got going on screen at the moment. There's a lot of detail in there, so I'm going to go into a little bit of detail, but I'm planning on doing a video which we're going to really pick out things on each of the pages that get shown. But as a little teaser for that, these are what's on the Warhammer community website, and it's really basically stuff for Crusade rules, which is really what I'm excited about for these codexes. The Crusade system is definitely getting me back into playing games because you do start small and you get this progression of your units and you have this history and this narrative, ongoing narrative, which I really do like. So I assumed this was going to happen with the codexes, where you would get specific Crusade rules for each of the different codexes. So you can see on the page here, we've got the top row is all the Space Marines, bottom row is the Necrons. So it looks like they have specific agendas, requisitions, and battle traits, which are more themed for that particular army, which is pretty cool. I know on the stream they talked about how a captain can get pretty badly wounded and getting turned into a dreadnought. That seems to be, whether that's actually hard-coded into the rules, I don't know, but that seems to be a really cool little thing where you do have these characters and they do change over time. They did also mention right at the end of the stream that the launch date for these is around October. So that lines up with, now Indomitus is out, and usually there's a delay before the actual models get released. I'm still assuming there will be another starter set, which will be a cut down version of the Indomitus box with probably the same rule book, but dice, rulers, and a whole bunch of other stuff like that. Like start collecting guide, that kind of thing. So I'm assuming that's going to come out in September sometime, then probably late September, and then mid-October, the Codex and a whole bunch of other models will come out. Which, what we're going to get into now, some of the models. So I'm excited for a new Codex. The price will probably be a little bit higher than normal. In Australia, they're $70. I'm assuming they're going to go up to $80. It's a new edition, and with price rise and inflation, it makes sense. So then we have the new tank for Space Marines, which is the Gladiator. They made a point of saying that it's somewhat based on the Predator, which is a classic Space Marine tank. And the Gladiator comes with 3 different variants, and they sort of show a few in the video. But we have, if we go through to the next slide, we have the Gladiator Valiant, which is the las cannon, dual las cannon and multi-melters. The Lancer, which is, looks like 2 bolt guns on the sponsoon and a big cannon, auto cannon, I think, I'm not sure. And then the Gladiator Reaper, which is 2 auto cannons and 4 bolters on each side. So that's kind of cool. I'm a big fan of the Reaper. And there is another image which I haven't put in here. It's in the video, so we might have seen it. They do have another, I guess, machine gun that can be mounted on top of the turret. So that's kind of cool. To be honest, it's a tank. I'm never really a huge fan of the tanks anyway. I'm more about the weird troop choices and weird flying things and bikes and stuff like that. But, you know, I think eventually we're going to see that the old Space Marine kits are completely replaced by the Primaris. We all knew this. It's going to be inevitable, and this is a reimagining of the Predator tank. So don't be surprised if that goes out of stock and does not come back. I'm sure that might be listed in the new Codex that will be out in October, but that's only really for the legacy play. I don't really see that they're going to be selling that anymore. But, you know, it is a nice looking tank. It's pretty chunky. The whole grav theme that they've gone with the other tanks. So you got that going on. And we do have little man in the top right hand corner sticking his head out, seeing what's going on. We also have the new Necron Monolith, which is a reworking of the old one, and it is far superior. We have talked about it briefly in another video where we looked at the missing Necron models. But we get a whole bunch more shots here, a lot of close-ups. And I was surprised how much detail there is actually on all the paneling. In the other photo, the only photo that we had, it was pretty, not dodgy quality, but it was small, so to actually get a look at the monolith, you have to zoom in to try and check the detail. But it looks like all the paneling is chipped, the black stone in the middle is falling apart, and we get some more extra angles this time around, including a close-up of the Necron phasing through. So they've now said, yes, this is actually a phasing teleporter. There's no way that all the Necrons could fit in there, and that's what they're doing. I think I mentioned in this other video about the monolith that I do love the sphere at the top instead of being like the push-pop lollipop thing that it used to be. And here we go, we've got some more close-up images. And I like it. Have different weapon variations, which are pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's a way better version compared to the old one. And you can see in the shots here the extra detail. So it looks like there are a lot of divots and dents that are part of the model, and then it looks like there's a lot more paint going on there. So in the video it looks like those scratches are part of the model, but I think that they're painted on. So you also get a really good look inside the model too, which you didn't get in the original monolith. So you do have the outside casing with the little gun turrets and the exhaust pipes, but you also then get 4 pillars of, that you confirm that is black stone, and then further in you can see the actual teleporter device, and then further in something in there. We haven't actually seen some good angles of that, but it looks to be some more alien Necron technology. And we have some Canoptech creature on the back doing its business, which is kind of cool. And I do love those spidery things. They should have many more of those. So I'm a big fan of this model. It's really big. I don't imagine it will be cheap. I think in Australia it might be around the 170 mark, simply because how big it is. There's a lot of plastic in there. So, you know, the sprue wise, it's probably a replicated sprue. So I would say that just by looking at it, the 4 corners are all the same. So they're not really having to design too many new molds for it, but I don't think it's going to be a cheap one. But I am excited for it. Now we have, right at the end, they did show off some new models, very briefly, some new models. So I've got that video playing now, and I'm excited for them. They look pretty cool, based on what we've seen. And the main one we did see was the ADEPTA SORORITAS Palatine, or Palatine, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it. So they're sort of second in command, almost like the lieutenant for the Primaris, I would assume. That's how I got the impression. So we've got the model there. This is really the only full shot of a model we saw in this video. And to be honest, it's just another one of the Sisters of Battle. They're good solid models. And that's pretty much it. So I get a feeling that there may be another campaign coming similar to Psychic Awakening, because these are all individual models. But before we get into that, we can see like the close up there of the blade. Very nice blade. That's actually very nice. I do like that. So we'll go through 2 of the models first. These are the first 2 models. The one on the left, clearly a Death Guard. We have seen a rumor engine shot of this, not this particular part, but part of this cloak, and I love the gross details of this. I think it's really cool, and to me it's clearly Death Guard, green Space Marine armor with the green goo coming off, and it looks like a Death Guard weapon. So they may be having some more heavy weapons, and they're really the only 2 shots we got of it. I don't know the significance of the symbol on the gun. I'd have to go through and have a look. I don't recall anything off the top of my head of what that could be, but I do have a small Death Guard collection, so I'm always keen to pick up some more. On the right, we have what I'm assuming is a Drukhari, simply because it's black with lots of spikes and Kirby spikes and symbols. Yeah, I think this is a Drukhari. Whether it's part of a new unit or a special character, we don't know yet. It looks like, so they've got a blade in their left hand. It looks like they have something coming off their side, which is, I think it's like a chain. But then there's also in the bottom image, in the top right, there is some red, and it looks like their right arm is going up, so they may be holding onto a flag or a banner or something. Not entirely sure. And then we have a new AdMech model, character, unit, not sure. I think this is a character. Doesn't really give too much information away. They're holding like a scepter, and they do seem to have a sword, which is, I don't think that's too unusual for AdMech, which makes me think that this is some kind of character. And not much more to say about that. Then we have on the right-hand side, when I first saw this, I didn't see the gun, and I was focused more on the skin, and I thought this was a weird Zote. Or then I was thinking, oh, maybe it's a Slith. But I wasn't really paying attention at the time. It was like the last thing of the stream, and I was dead tired by that stage. I think it was like midnight. And I like my early bedtime. But this is clearly an orc. You can tell by the gun, the weapons. I was a bit confused by the skin. It's not that they're not, orcs usually aren't as muscular as that. It just seemed that the whole entire body was too upright. But when you look at it, you can see like the legs are a bit more squat. But we also have in the bottom image there, and you would have seen that in the video, this is the thing that got me, which is why I didn't think it was an orc to start with. This pinky skin thing with some bones, looks like bones sticking out, like Stegosaurus bones. I have no idea what that actually is. I don't know what that could be at all. I'm very confused by that. Is it some other creature that they've taken as a trophy? I really don't know. So that's probably the most intriguing one, simply because I have no idea what it is. So there we go. What one are you most excited about? I am excited about the Death Guard model. Who knows when that's going to come out? I don't know. But that cloak is, and just the paint job on that cloak is just exquisite. I love it. I am excited for the monolith. I'm a bit wary about how much it's going to cost. Like, you can just see the absolute scale of it, because you've got a Necron phasing through. It's really tall. So that's, I don't know about that. We do have the new tank. That's going to be probably around the same price as the other tanks, maybe a little bit more expensive. And then the Codexes, which have a lot of juicy, good stuff in it. And it's always fun to get a new Codex, particularly now they've got the Crusade rules in there. So yeah, let me know in the comments, what do you think your favorite is, and what one are you excited about? And if you have enjoyed this video, please feel free to subscribe, because we have a ton more videos coming out. And leave a like, and all that good stuff. So until next time, thank you for watching.